Hello. Hi, welcome to Quarter Life Problems with Mel. Hi, my name is Mel. Um, and yeah, welcome to the first episode of my podcast, where I will be talking about my life as a 22-year-old and all the ups and downs and everything in between it. And yeah, so I wanted to create this podcast and basically this creative outlet more so as a safe space to give me this opportunity where I can talk about my feelings and my emotions and everything that's going on in my life that you might possibly relate to and that you might possibly not relate to. Um, doesn't really matter. But to have this opportunity to like talk freely about my emotions that I probably can't do in person to my favorite people. Sometimes it's very, very difficult to like form into words what I want to say. And I hope that with this, I can just kind of communicate my feelings and emotions. So, one, I can get to know myself a little bit better. And for anyone who's listening, and to kind of just talk and about what's going on freely with no interruption and no judgment, because sometimes I feel like when we talk in person to certain people, or in general, when we talk to people in person, you get a little bit scared of what the other person might say, and sometimes some people don't let you talk. Some people, interrupt you while it is beautiful that they can give me advice, but sometimes it's kind of like just let me talk. So, this is kind of what I wanted to create, just a place where I could just talk about all these emotions and feelings, and I'll be talking about topics like in general adulthood, navigating my 20s and my life, um, and yeah, talking about kind of my mental health and how my struggles and challenges have affected me as a person and kind of as well as anxiety and the struggles of also navigating friendships and balancing that out with as well as your personal life and relationships and things like that, and kind of the experience that I'm going through currently and as well as I hope to currently go through on in the rest of my life. But yeah, so I'll be talking a lot about that kind of also maybe hopefully girly stuff, have that opportunity where I can just talk freely about anything. Um, and yeah, kind of my life as just a girl, a woman, and yeah, as a first generation student, kind of talk about experiences like traveling, what I want to do, my goals, and kind of the outcomes that I hope to seek. And yeah, and just talking a lot about those different types of topics. And yeah, so yeah, that's what I hope to talk about. Recently, I think throughout the past year, there's been a lot of self-reflection. There's been a lot of self-reflection. I don't know why specifically this year, but yeah, like it's kind of taken a little bit of a toll on me and my mental health. Um, and I wouldn't know how to describe it, I guess. I think we're already starting to get pretty close now that I'm going to start to tell you. But I think the best way that I could describe it would be that I know I'm not alone, but I feel very lonely. I feel very lonely. And it sucks. It's very sad and it sucks because you're like, why am I feeling this way? Like, anyways, it sucks because it takes a toll in general on my mental health, and I feel sick to my stomach whenever I say that because then I'm like, I feel ungrateful. But that feeling is just as valid as any other feeling that you may have. And so for me, it is something that I've been like struggling with for the past few months, the past year in general, and it sucks. And also just in general, adjusting to life now, coming back home after graduating, it sucks. Yeah. So that's a little bit of an insight of kind of what I've been feeling throughout the past year and kind of why I just wanted to create this, maybe to in hopes of possibly having, people that have also felt that way also. Um, and create this space where you could not feel alone, where you won't feel alone. and possibly relate to something. And if you don't, that's totally fine. But if you do, I want to create this space for me and for you where we can just have a little bit of company and have a little bit of like, um, be there for one another. I think that's what I'm trying to get at. And yeah, so you and I don't feel alone, so that we know that, you know, even if I feel alone, but I hope to like, maybe help someone out there and be like, okay, well, I've experienced the same thing or I've felt the exact same thing before or whatnot, right? And so that's kind of what I want to get at and have just a safe space for me to talk about these types of things in a true raw form that sometimes, some people don't let me talk about it, or in general, I feel like I can't talk about it because who knows, right? And so, yeah. So that's really kind of what I wanted to get through with this podcast and kind of just the overall content of how the vibes will be for this podcast. I do hope, apart from talking about certain topics throughout future episodes and the future year to come, I do hope to also create episodes where I could just ramble on and talk about random things. Maybe chismear, right? So it's things like that where I just like want to have those. I think for me, one of my favorite podcasts are the type that I can relate to certain things, but like certain topics and things that's going on in my life, but also just talk and ramble on to the podcast where people just talk and ramble on about their life and chismes and things that's going on, because it makes me feel less lonely. I remember in my freshman year of college, I would listen to a podcast of a group of like, I think high school students, or they were about like my age as well. And it felt like less lonely having them in the background because I felt like, oh, my friends are just talking as well. Like I felt like I just had a group of friends talking around me while I was doing some homework, right? So I loved it and it made me feel less lonely and I hope to create that safe space as well. And yeah, and so I hope to do that. And apart from that, that's kind of where I want to go with my podcast. And if you want to stick around for the ride, if you want to stick around for me trying to navigate life and navigate these struggles and challenges and hopefully get better throughout the year. Um, yeah, come along with me and come along with me on this ride and let's be less lonely together. No, but yeah. Um, yeah, so that's really it, and that's how kind of I want to introduce to you guys what I want to be talking about in the future episodes that may come. Throughout also as well in each podcast episode, I want to kind of have a personal check-in. Personal check-in at the beginning of the podcast or near the beginning before we deep dive into the actual topic, but really like to check in on like how I'm feeling, how I've been this week, or maybe what I've been doing in general. Like, oh, what have I been up to? What has Mel been up to? And just talk about that. I love to sometimes talk about my day. Sometimes I don't have someone to talk about my day with. My mom goes to work, my parents work pretty much all day, and then I'm home alone and I get very little human interactions. So I would really like to talk about my day sometimes. And so I'll hopefully do that throughout also my personal check-ins if I remember. But also like in general talk about what I'm feeling. How did I feel today? Kind of like a diary log. I don't know if sometimes people who journal, they tend to like log their feelings like, "Oh, today I felt happy, today I felt sad, today mad," like things like that, right? So I kind of want to talk about that in my personal check-in. But for today's first personal check-in, I kind of want to just talk a lot, talk a little bit about myself. Kind of who I am as a person, who I've been for the past 22 years, what I've done with my life, where I've been, what I've been up to, things like that. So yeah. So just to start again and to give you a little reminder, my name is Melanie, but you could call me Mel. I am 22 years old and I am a Gemini, if that helps. A lot of people in college would always ask after they asked my name, they would always go with the question of like, what's your zodiac sign? And so I don't know if it helps, but yeah, I'm a Gemini. And if that offends you or you don't like it, you suck. But no, I'm just kidding. Um, But yeah, so apart from that, 22, a Gemini. I am also my parents, a little bit of like cultural background. My parents are from Oaxaca, Mexico, specifically a pueblo. I wouldn't want to mention it, but my parents are from a pueblo near Tlacolula, if anyone knows. Um, and yeah, so I'm from there and I am very culturally proud to be Oaxacan. I love anything Oaxaca, the culture, the celebrations, the traditions. I love it. And yeah, so a little bit more, I guess, is that when I was 2 years old, I was born and raised in Los Angeles. But at 2 years old, I went back to Mexico with my parents because they got married, and that's where I learned my first language. So my first language was actually Zapoteco, which is a dialect in Oaxaca. Well, Oaxaca has many dialects, but the specific dialect my parents speak is more so of a modernized Zapoteco, where it's Zapoteco kind of mixed with some Spanish. And you could tell right off the bat that it's more so modernized by the way they speak. And some things you can understand it, some things you can't. But yeah, that was my first language as a kid. And then we came back to the States like a year later or something. And I was learning Spanish. And then I learned as I got older, from 4 to 5 and 6 years old, I was learning English. So I lost a lot of my fluency in Zapoteco, which sucks. Like, oh my God. I wish. Sorry, just had to take a little burp break. But I wish I wish I had learned or I wish I had continued speaking Zapoteco because it's such a beautiful dialect and language in general in itself, and it's something that as generations grow and more generations are to come, the dialect is being the dialects, the Zapoteco language is just being lost in Oaxaca, and it's kind of sad that at least for me, I'll probably be the last generation of my family to kind of understand it and speak it. But yeah, it's kind of sad, and I wish I would have been fluent in it because I would have taught my kids too. But unfortunately, that is not the case, and I hope to one day, like, re-educate myself on it and talk more, um, talk and be able to speak it more fluently. So yeah, but yeah, I wouldn't call myself necessarily a trilingual, but I mean, I guess you could say that, but I wouldn't consider myself trilingual just because I feel like I'm not fluent enough. I could fully understand everything. Like if someone talks to me in Zapoteco, if I'm in the pueblo, or if my parents are speaking to me, or if people are talking smack, I can definitely understand it. But I can't form full sentences, and it sucks because I wish I could communicate that way. I would love to communicate that way to my mom. Um, but yeah, so that's a little bit of kind of my cultural background, kind of the languages I speak. Um, I'm a very short, petite person. I'm literally just a girl. But yeah, and then I guess a little bit more kind of like hobbies and things that I've done in my life. I guess let's start with Mexican folklore dance, folklorico. I danced that in elementary and high school. I loved it. I loved it, loved it, loved it. Folklorico can definitely be from all other parts of Latin America, but I specifically danced Mexican folklore. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Oh my God, I wish they taught more like at least in the groups I was in, I wish they taught more like Oaxacan folklore because duh, like I love Flor de Piña, like period. But yeah, so I did that in high school and elementary. Elementary, middle school, and high school I also did swimming. Thank you to my mom for telling my coach to push me in the water. She was a certified lifeguard, don't worry. But yeah, like I mean, if it wasn't because of that, I wouldn't be swimming today. I was in the swim team, water polo team, and synchronizing team all throughout elementary, middle school, and high school. Part of college as well. and I loved it. I love swimming. I love the water now. It's kind of one of my favorite places to be in. If there's a pool, I'm jumping in. And yeah, I just love to swim. I did synchronizing swimming first just because I mean, I was very girly at the time and I loved to do that. And then I did swim team. It also depended on the seasons because certain seasons there would be competition. So it's like, okay, winter you do swim team, summer it was synchro, and it was things like that, right? More so the ending of middle school, kind of beginning of high school, I was in the water polo team. um, I was only in it just because there wasn't that many teammates of my team members of my age, and I had to like volunteer myself to get in there. But yeah, I don't really like water polo just because it's very like brutal on me. It's very aggressive. It's very aggressive, and I'm a very petite, tiny girl. Like people would drown me. Like, oh my God, people are aggressive. Girls are mean. Girls are mean in that sport. Like they would not cut their nails. I mean, ew, I wouldn't show my nails right now because they're kind of gross. But like they would not cut their nails. They would not cut their toenails, and that would be disgusting because then I would get a scratch and it's like I'm, and I would get so many bruises. But yeah, I mean, I was fast and I was kind of like, like, I could get around you, but there was a lot of like bigger people than me. Like in size, they were bigger and they could like run me over, not run me over, swim over me, literally, like quite literally. And so that's what I did all throughout high school, kind of my favorite sport. Another hobby, I guess, would be like coloring and drawing and painting. I love to do anything artsy. It's very fun for me. It's very therapeutic. I've always done it since like middle school, high school. I've always been very like arts and craftsy. So yeah, I love to do that type of stuff. I wish I could call myself a reader, but I wasn't. I haven't been much of a reader, honestly. But if I were to read books, I would read rom-coms for sure. My best friend, she loves to read rom-coms, and she's like, she needs to give me some books. But point being is, those are the type of books I would read now. Back in like middle school, my favorite types of books were middle school and high school were dystopian um books, like genre. That this is yeah. So for example, I'm like, damn, I do sound a little bit dumb. I need to go back to school, but it's okay. No, yeah. So I love my favorite, I guess, trilogy would be The Hunger Games. I'm a ride or die. I'm a ride or die for The Hunger Games. Pick it up. No, yeah, I love The Hunger Games. I loved the Divergent series. I love the Maze Runner series. So basically anything dystopian, loved it. If there had a little sprinkle of romance, loved it as well. And yeah, my favorite movie of The Hunger Games is Catching Fire. So if you love it too, I love you too. But yeah, so that's kind of, I guess that's really it. No, oh, I can also call myself a marathon runner because I did run a marathon in high school. I don't know why. I was a little crazy. But I mean, I was able to do it with my best friend and I was also able to do it with my mom. She's now a seven-time marathon runner. Proud of you, girl, because she is such an active woman. She loves to stay active and be active, whether it be hiking, running. She's now learned how to swim and bike, and it's great to see that because as a kid, like your mom would take you to do all these sports, and now I'm the one. I think roles have been reversed, and now I'm the one like taking her to her races and teaching. I taught her a little bit how to swim, but I don't really have the patience for that, so she had to get another coach. But yeah, it was nice, and it's nice to see kind of my mom be able to enjoy her hobbies at her age and still have that strength for it, you know. Both my parents are very active. They love to hike, they love to travel, and I've been on many, many, many excursions with them. Yeah, we've been a lot to like places like Oregon, Washington, the Grand Canyon. We love Yosemite. That's where it all started. Yosemite is kind of like a second home to us in the sense of like national parks, because that's where it all started. So yeah. Yeah, we love to do a lot of road trips as a family. I used to hate it as a kid, but now like I think now that you're grown, now that I'm grown, do y'all hear the people that are interrupting me? Really? Like, really? Okay, we're back, and I think people are not interrupting me. Oh my God, I kind of lost track. Someone was interrupting me, and I lost track a little bit. So, but yeah, okay. I think that's pretty much all I've done up till now. Apart from that, I also got into the University of California of Davis, where I was able to learn, furthermore, managerial economics, which you could think about kind of like business. And then I minored in management in tech. And so, yeah, I've been more so like a business girl. I went into college not knowing what I wanted to do, honestly. So, um, do your research, people, and really get to know what you want to do and get to know what you're going to get into. And it's okay to change majors. I'm gonna just say that. I'll hopefully talk in another episode, kind of my experience overall, my college experience, because it was a weird one. I mean, it was a pandemic, and then we got out of the pandemic, and then human interaction, and oh my God, it was a lot of that. So yeah, I got to meet a lot of my friends there, and it was wonderful. I would not change it. I know some people did not like Davis, and that is totally okay. I mean, you do you. If you wanted to, whatever. It is Cowtown, but I loved Cowtown all the way, and I'm a ride or die for Cowtown. So yeah. Um, and yeah, so that's where I got to study, and I graduated recently as of August 2024, and I moved back, and now I'm adjusting to living back with my parents. So it is a big adjustment, obviously. I mean, I was away and gone for 4 years, and now I'm back with living with new roommates. I was already adjusted to living with three other girls. I would mainly say two other girls just because one was not really more so present all the time, but I I created friendships and I created these wonderful bonds that are something that I cherish and take with me all the time, and I hope to keep in touch with these girls all the time. And yeah, that's where I met a lot of beautiful people, and that taught me a lot, and I learned to love, and I learned a lot of emotions at UC Davis. So it was beautiful. It was a rocky it had a rocky start, but it ended up, kind of being okay in the end. And so I wouldn't change it for a thing, and that's kind of what I did. And yeah, I guess that's really just it. And really more so as an actual personal check-in for what I've done and what I've felt this week and today. Today, I guess I just ran some errands for my mom. That's quite all I've been doing while I've been living at home. I am unemployed, actively looking for jobs, but um yeah, I just run errands for my mom. I go to the gym. I love to go to the gym, so I do that. And I hang out with my friends, and I have all this free time now. And so, with free time comes a lot of time to kind of think about all these things, and it sucks. So, why not actually do it in a setting where I can, maybe do it creatively, right? And so that's kind of what I've been up to. And the past year, again, like I mentioned at the beginning, I've been feeling this big feeling of alone. I'm not alone, but I feel lonely, right? And so that's kind of what I want to get into kind of more so where this episode is going, because I feel like people are going to be like, girl, now you're just like leading me on to I don't know what, right? So, kind of the main topic that I kind of just want to talk about really is, I guess, the overall thing that I've been struggling with my whole life is, well, it's called imposter syndrome, and I hate it. I hate it. And I guess the actual definition for imposter syndrome, because I mean, I think we all know what it is already, right? But I mean, I guess for those that kind of never heard it or it's their first time hearing it, or in general, whatever you need a refresher, imposter syndrome, according to WebMD, is when you doubt your own skills and successes, and you feel you're not as talented or worthy as others believe, and you're scared that one day people will realize that. Yeah, that's quite literally what I've been feeling. I, for specifically at least the past 4 years in college, I feel like I haven't done enough. I feel like I didn't do enough. Even now, trying to get a job, I feel like I didn't do enough. And then apart from that, I feel like I haven't, apart from academic success and professional success, I feel like in the relationships and friendships wise, I feel like I didn't I haven't achieved like success, if that makes sense. Like I haven't taken care of certain relationships, and now that I'm back, I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to take care and rebuild certain relationships to get better. And I know I'm also in a state of like mentally and emotionally kind of in a rocky state, but I for certain people, I feel like I kind of like how do I say? I didn't keep in touch and I feel really bad. And so in that way, that's stuff that I'm struggling with, right? And so I feel like there's a lot of skills that I could get better at. For example, keeping in touch with people, making sure I communicate my feelings towards other people and being kind of very mature about it. And as an adult, just fully communicate in general. I know everyone says communicate. If you're in a relationship, communicate. Communication is key. Apart from just an intimate relationship, it's communication is very much key in friendships. And because friendships are relationships, you have, if you want a friendship and if you want to stick through a friendship, you need to communicate. And so that skill is also like what I'm struggling with. And then again, I think being first generation, the first child of my family, having to go to college, having to figure out how to do FAFSA on my own, having to figure out certain things by myself, moving away and figuring it out by myself, how to do grocery shopping, how to clean, I don't know, things like that, right? And although I did learn that stuff at home, it's different when you live on your own because you have to keep yourself accountable, right? And so, oh, the sirens are going. Sorry. If you ever hear sirens in the background when I'm talking, it happens a lot in my area and I don't know why. Anyways, um, yeah, so it's really something that I see, I lost my train of thought. Oh my, I want to scream whenever I lose my train of thought. Like, don't interrupt me. Jeez. But where was I getting at? Oh my lord. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Oh, I hate this. Okay, but yeah. So anyways, I was talking about communication, friends, and those are things that I've been just struggling. And so, yeah, and so, oh, again. Okay, so as being a first generation, firstborn daughter, having to figure all these things out by myself, it's taking a big toll on me because, well, I have to figure it out by myself and I can't ask for help because no one else knows how to do it. My parents didn't go to college, they didn't fill out FAFSA, they never finished certain things that I have been able to finish, and it's like who do I ask for help, right? And I have a younger brother who has it so easy because sorry, but who has it so easy because I have experienced it and now I can help him, right? And I have younger siblings or younger family members who I can go they can come to for help if they want to, right? But I had to experience it all and struggle with it all, and it's so hard because being the oldest daughter, having to grow up and mature so quick and lose a part of my childhood sucked. And it still sucks because little me cries whenever I'm just like I I reflect and I'm like why did that happen to me? Why couldn't I just be a child? Why did I have to take care of my brother and my cousins? Why did I have to be the one to like fill out papers? Why? And it's a blessing in disguise, really, right? Because you get to like also learn yourself and be like, well, I'm now independent. Now look at me. I'm so independent. I can do it all by myself. If I were to move away now and go to a different state, I could possibly do it and deal with it just fine. But again, deal with it just fine is not okay because internally I'm struggling. Internally, I like imposter syndrome kind of talks about as you put on this mask to hide the fact that you're scared of all these feelings of like your skills and your successes that they aren't enough, and you hide that when really you're not okay, right? And so that's kind of what I've been feeling, because I've been feeling that I'm just a fraud at everything, that oh my God, like people are gonna figure me out, and when they figure me out, it's I'm scared. Like I don't want people to know my actual feelings. Yeah, I'm here on this podcast talking about it. So caught you there, Mel. But no. And so yeah, and so I go through again this imposter cycle as it describes, which is where we notice this pattern of behavior, and I have noticed it, and I just put things off. I create habits where I'm like, it's not good. I'm procrastinating, or I'm just not communicating. I shut myself down and I don't want to talk to anybody. I do more work than I'm supposed to because I think that's going to make me feel better. And I just don't talk about my feelings. I don't ask for help. And it sucks not asking for help. And so from this, I've gained so much anxiety, and it sucks because why do I also feel anxious hanging out with my friends? Why do I feel anxious hanging out with my friends? Why do I feel anxious about asking my mom if I can go out, even though I'm a 22-year-old grown woman that knows that her parents let her go out, obviously? But why am I still so scared? Why do I have that anxiety? Why do I have anxiety just going down the street for a walk? Obviously, I'm a woman, so that's also scary too, you know? So it's a lot of things where I'm just like, oh, like, why am I feeling this way? I'm feeling anxiety, I'm feeling this imposter syndrome, and I'm feeling everything in between, well, being the eldest child. And even still now, as a 22-year-old, I still feel so responsible for a lot of things and for a lot of people's feelings, and feeling responsible of the fact that I have to take care of everyone when I need to take care of myself, right? And so there's this constant battle in my head of like, there's one voice telling me, like, you should be grateful. You should be grateful of the fact that you did all of this your entire life. For example, swimming, all of your hobbies. You did a marathon, you studied abroad, you know three languages. You should be grateful. Why are you feeling sad? You're dumb. That's that voice telling me, you know? And then there's this other voice trying to comfort me and say, no, you're okay, you're good. Look, yeah, you did all of that, but your feelings are just as valid. If you feel that way, it's totally okay. It's totally understandable. Let's reflect a little bit why, you know? But then it's like a game of tug of war where it's like, you should be feeling grateful. Don't be feeling that way. You shouldn't even feel that way. And then there's this other one that's like, it's totally valid. It's okay. Don't worry. If you need to cry, cry. So then I don't know where I am. So I'm in between, and I feel like I'm just being pulled back and forth, and it sucks. It just sucks. And so that's kind of where I've been at. And again, I've been gone for 3, 4 years, and I feel like now that I came back home and I'm adjusting to everything, and I'm adjusting to being back with my family, being surrounded by my parents, my brother, um, and my friends and my close friends, and then also now being gone from friends that I met in college, I feel like I'm missing out, you know. I think this specifically more so, I feel like I missed out on a lot of stuff from here at home, and now it just doesn't feel like home. And so again, it's that falling back into that feeling of I know I'm not alone, but I feel very lonely. And it sucks because I've been gone for 3 to 4 years, and people have grown and matured in so many different ways for the better, of course, and the people for all the people that I love and I know. But I feel like now that I came back, I feel left out, even though I know I'm not left out. I know I'm not left out because everyone wants to, in general, just hang out, not to hang out with me. I mean, duh. But like, no. Like in general, everyone wants to hang out. We have this group of friends back together, the family's back together, but I feel left out. People talk about stories, people talk about their experiences that happened, and I wasn't here and I feel left out. And it sucks. Why are you feeling that way? I mean, you went to school, you went 6 hours away to go to school. You weren't doing anything really, like, to do anything bad, right? again, that voice, why are you feeling bad? There's no. And so ugh, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just this sucky feeling. And so, yeah, I feel like I missed out a lot. It doesn't feel like home. I'm trying to adjust to it. I'm trying to feel like, okay, just listen to all these stories and it's okay and you'll be caught up. And then people think to perceive me as a certain way when you haven't seen me for 3 to 4 years. And I think those 3 to 4 years from 18 to 22, there's been a lot of character development. And for people to quickly judge and say, oh, well, you've become this person, or you were always this person. Look, I think there's been a lot of character development, and you should not be quick to judge, you know? And so, anyways, there's just like a lot of stuff, right? A lot of things that are going on, and I hope in future episodes I can dive deeper into like specific things into the specifics, right? But yeah, now getting back, I have to adjust to all of this, adjust to people and how they have changed for the good or for the worse, however it may be, of course, and not be so quick to judge them, as well as hoping that people are not so quick to judge me and perceive me a certain way, you know? And so, and also navigate this whole thing of like why I'm feeling left out and feeling like this is not home, feeling scared about my skills and successes, and this anxiety. Oh my God. But yeah, so really it's just learning to navigate all of that and learning to see how I can be myself and just be a little bit happier than I am now. And just get myself back to feeling like myself because I don't feel like myself and it sucks and I know it. And I know my behavior is not the same as it used to be, And so, yeah, that's what I hope to like talk about further on and deeper about in future episodes because it is mental health and in general it is very important. And yeah, and I think if there would be something from just what I've talked about overall, it would be to really reach out to your friends. If you have a friend that lives far away or moved because of school or moved in general, even if they may live an hour away, like truly reach out to them because it makes it so much better. And to me, the way I see it, and you could always like, I don't know, you could you could judge me on this one, I guess. Don't judge me on the rest. No, but really, the phone goes both ways. The phone goes both ways. And I know that part of me sometimes in communicating and talking about mental health is not easy to everyone. And overall, really, like, if you are struggling and you feel like you can't do that phone call or you can't send that text message, like, hope for the best that someone will reach out or like someone will talk to you and if you let yourself really do talk to them about what you're feeling. But also really for me, I think what's impacted me is that idea, that sense of like the phone goes both ways. Why do I always have to be the one reaching out and putting in the work? And it sucks, and sometimes I do understand that, and partly it might be my fault because maybe I'm the one that kind of, you know, distanced herself. But again, like I just said, phone goes both ways. And really just think about those relationships, think about the people that are around you that you want to have in your life to kind of grow. Because if you have those specific people that, always are there cheering on for you in anything and everything, whether it be your first job, whether it be a retail job, or whether it be a hobby of yours, if those are the people that are cheering on for you, those are the type of people that you will want to have because those are the people that will make you a better person, that will just make you happier. And so, overall, throughout all of these things, because I feel like I've been now just rambling on, um, apart from imposter syndrome, anxiety, this loneliness that I've been feeling, all of these things, I hope to talk about it again way more later on. But overall, I think what I just want to get at is I need to remind myself, and maybe if you need a little reminder, is just to really, truly, truly surround yourself by people that you want around yourself that will make you better, that will make you a better person, that will make you happier, that will not give you all this drama and make you just feel a little bit better about yourself and will always be there for you. Okay? And yeah, I know sometimes we we lash out and we say things, but that's kind of really it. Just kind of think, reflect a little bit, and then if you really want people in your life, talk to them about these things, talk to them about your emotions. And I am currently trying to do that. I'm slowly but surely trying to talk about my emotions, trying to talk about my feelings, my mental health with people that I feel comfortable with. And obviously, if you are one of my friends and are listening to this, yes, I have been struggling a little bit, but it's okay and I'll be okay. And I hope that if I can't open up to you in person, that maybe this is a way that I can open up. Um, but yeah. And so to kind of more so end a little bit the podcast, to end it off, I guess, is kind of just to tell myself that it'll get better. I hope that throughout future episodes we can kind of reflect, we can talk about things more in depth and just really find a solution or find a way that we can cope and navigate our life, and it's all going to be okay. Right now it doesn't seem like it, and it's a little sad. It sucks, but it'll be okay. It'll be okay. But yeah, other than that, that's really all I have to say today as an kind of an opening to give you a little bit of an insight of how or what I'll be talking about. Um, so if you like the vibes, stay. If you don't like the vibes, I guess you can leave. I would prefer you to stay, but but if obviously if this is kind of what you're into, and if you're not into it, it's perfectly fine. But if you're into it, stick along. I hope to be a person that I can give you some type of comfort and give you some type of company, Everyone needs a little bit of company every now and then, sometimes when you're on a walk or in general. So, yeah, I hope to keep continuing doing this on the basis of like posting. I don't know when I will specifically post my podcast episode. I hope I obviously am also filming the podcast, so apart from it being on YouTube, it will also be on Spotify. So I don't know how long it will take me because I will have to, do some editing there. But yeah, so until the second episode, I will more so talk about kind of the actual days I will be posting. And yeah, so also if you haven't followed me on Instagram, I'm also on Instagram at Quarter Life Probs with Mel. So you can follow me there. I will give more so updates on there on kind of when I'm posting. And yeah, we can have a little community there. And yeah, so yeah. Anyways, that's really all I had to talk about today, just to give you an insight of what I've been feeling. And yeah, so I hope your day is better than mine, and I hope you get better and then I get better and that we both navigate life together. Let's hold hands and pray. Amen. But anyways, yeah, so I hope that it'll be all get better through along this ride, and yeah, join me on this ride. My name is Melanie, and thank you for listening to the first episode of Quarter Life Problems with Mel. And I hope to see you in the next episode.